but I think that ETSH, yeah, I think, okay, so Geeky are actually now pulling up on the recall beacon in Jadina City on the south side with Nerzed, so they can get a little bit more aggressive with this one. I don't know if ETSH, yeah, no, they do also have an outpost. I'm seeing Baby actually very, very far north, much closer towards the circle. Might struggle to get towards a recall beacon up there, though. So for ETSH, holding this fight on lock is much more important.
Absolutely, this is a case of basically being at a full disadvantage. Luckily, there is a wraparound, but now Geeky moves in. And every single player goes down. It's a good setup there from Geeky. 2 angles held, and you know what? They don't check their corners. They do not check their corners.
That's nasty. Fortunately, though, Baby does manage to find his way through. This is all the way up in Heme Town. So what is this, like 4 kilometers away from that fight? He's been on the road for a while. Very looted, actually, so has been stopping off somewhere. But getting the rest of the team back up in Heme Town? I mean, this is a pretty quick rotation off the back of almost getting entirely squad wiped for ETSH. So not terrible, really, at all. And Heme Town unlooted.
I guess you could call it a rotation. I suppose it's pretty good, to be fair. You do completely circumvent all of the teams that are lined across that northeast side. What are VP doing?
What's going on?
Oh, I think I understand. I understand. No, I understand. They not call themselves so they can get the recall closer towards the circle. That's the only thing that makes sense here to me.
They did all knock themselves in Meiran, though, which is in the next circle.
Yeah.
And the last player's in the blue zone somewhere?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, guys? I hope everyone doing very well. Welcome.
I actually can't see
the group.
We've got our map feed up. You guys can pull up map feeds as well at home. Maybe you can help us out because we're trying to spot them. They're normally
GC 2025
YouTube channel, certainly.
Final day आज आखिरी दिन है.
Interesting decision.
ताबड़तोड़ गेमप्ले आज ताबड़तोड़. कैसे आप लोग ठीक ठाक खैरियत से हो? खुशामदीद.
Here, Blank, is that this rondo is much more action-packed on the hot drops than we've seen from either of the other 2 rondos on these starting positions.
Absolutely. So weird. So weird. There is like there's a lot of things that go into that where, you know, you get the recall beacon off wherever they are, but also they got 3 elims, and I think they heard teams like barreling it down towards them, and they were worried to hold that position as 3. So
welcome Farouk. Fine, thank you. Roshan, walaikum salam. Faisal, walaikum salam.
Much loot on board. Like, we can't really stay here. I don't know. You know what, Seven? Please talk to them.
Salam.
This is exactly what you're there for. That's what I need.
Alhamdulillah, welcome. Atuf, welcome. Alaikum salam.
Do you think you're
first 2 match grand final, yeah. First 2 teams grand final, no. First 3 teams grand final.
Thinks that they may have been
Sigma, thank you, brother.
Okay, we found them. Yeah, the analyst desk was right because they were saying probably going back down to Tinlong Gardens.
Yalla, let's go.
I just think that you're in Meiran. I don't think there
was welcome salam, welcome.
You just loot up there. And then from there potentially.
Shukran, jazakallah al-khair. Jazakallah al-khair.
We're both barreling towards.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'd somewhat, as what I was saying before, and I somewhat agree with Max there.
كل شيء 200 كل شيء okay 200.
It's just a very strange maneuver to pull. You're trying to limit the amount of eliminations you give across. Your players down towards Tinlong Garden anyway, so you just regroup as the 4-man rather than have him go out early and then risk getting the res later on. That's the only things I can think of.
Alaikum salam, alaikum salam, welcome.
To make that crossing back in with the circle moving down towards the south, they are quite fortunate in that regard.
Salam.
Either a brain fart moment or a real big brain blast. You know, the Baja blast brain moment right there.
Phil a real Jimmy Neutron with that one. Goodness me. I mean, you don't need 3 of your own teammates and have the vehicle explode by accident, right? Like that's a purposeful decision. So yeah, that's really
Alhamdulillah,
positive.
alhamdulillah,
And maybe we should be focusing more on what's going on close to the center of the
आज
circle.
last day,
We've got a
आज
couple of
तो
teams over on the north
ताबड़तोड़.
side. This is up by Hemetown. We saw that recall come through
DRX
from TSA.
लो number 1 पे आ गई DRX हाँ.
This is a little bit of a standoff between Arcred and Team Flash.
जो 1, 2, 3 team है, 1, 2, 3 3 team है, ये qualify करेगी.
Bubble on third place, but still within thinking distance of being able to catch up. What is that? 21 and 7, so 28 points behind Team Flash right now. Definitely achievable during
Sigma,
a day to
thank
make
you.
up that gap, but they do need to start off with a big game, and of course have all the other teams around them do pretty poorly as well. The river that sits down that north side that stretches
baby
down
boy
from
darling
Wuhan
miss you.
down
Hey,
towards
I'm not your
Lokpasing
baby boy.
is going to be a difficult crossing for teams in the middle of this circle.
DRX
Yeah,
REG
again, it's
WBG qualify.
War involved and
I don't know bro.
sort of dips down
जो दो पहले वाले टीमों की नाम ली ये तो 100% है. Flash भी इनके पीछे है Flash.
Of this map, but even then, it's still some uncomfortable zone to play in.
Oh yeah.
Always is tough about Rondo is that you do get
IC की matches 6 तारीख को 6 तारीख.
incredibly open. And that is sort of alleviated by the fact that you can create the craters with the nades, etc. Okay, Reverb.
Yalla, my coffee is
ETSH
here.
taking a bit of a lesson from Geeky and playing the corners themselves.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely good to learn from your mistakes, I suppose. Bows now trying to stay alive on the inside. Nades are pouring in. ETSH on the rock up, and it looks like Team Flash, they're getting carried at the back as well. The backup not quite there. Finally, they do crash in. No, hang on a minute. That's ETSH.
सबके हाथ में लंबा भाई.
Is still giving it a good go. He's found one, done a lot of damage to a second, but he's still out of these corners. Maybe it will continue to be the case, but steps into the line of fire. Bows goes down next. ETSH, they lose Reverb on that fight. Alliance are rocking up to it as well on the north side, and maybe an important position given the circle shift here, Blank. But ETSH.
Oh my god, oh my
seems
god,
like
oh
Team
my
Flash
god.
Gonna have a little bit of a nightmare on the north side. Muhaban recall is within
Sam, welcome.
distance,
Alaikum
but
salam,
they've got
habibi.
DRX in the way, and Alliance the bookend on the other side of that fight.
Yeah, DRX are absolutely guarding that position too. For Alliance, that was a fight that I did not think they would lose. You know, that is most of the time when we see Alliance push positions, we see them just fall on their face, and it does look sad. It looks very sad. But that time around, you know, you've got 2 players knocked, 1 player is still in the building. That should be an easy cleanup for Alliance. DRX, though, yesterday, what a game to finish things off on. 20 elims and the chicken dinner, which did shoot them up into first place despite all the good work that was done yesterday by Regnum Kaya. Regnum Kaya definitely wanting to regain that top spot.
2 बंदे DRX के, 1 Flash का सामने.
But for them, they're quite happy just to get into top 3.
It will be good enough. Top 3, I mean, everybody would be happy with that. Unless maybe Erectum Kaya or DRX. They both want that top spot. Alliance now cleaning up the last parts of that fight that we saw there. But Arcred, we know they're one of the few teams here that really like to third party. And it looks like they're going to do just that. Iftar. Oh dear. Taking those knocks over towards Alliance. They fully committed to this building, and now Arcred are going to get ahead of this
Arcred
one.
का push आ गया all पे भाई.
Arcred, not necessarily crashing directly onto the building, littered with vehicles on the approach. Look at that one. Goodness me, a veritable scrapyard. But instead, playing further in and encircling Alliance, forcing them into this fight. The downside is that DRX can third party this as well.
Yeah, but I think DRX still needs to hold out over towards north, and they do. They take down final player from the Flash there, which is good news. Balls are also making their way in, so I think DRX will turn attention. That is such a clean sweep. It's like the balls are coming. Oh, the balls are now knocked and all dead.
Baba, DRX, shagale, Kurin.
I'm a little bit sad that Alliance
DRX bay on form.
On and off angle.
Abdullah Mirza, welcome salam.
Much rather they got that res off and
Gali Singh, welcome salam.
To take some shots on the
Galla Singh, right? Galla Singh, right?
Opening knock, and from there your life gets a lot easier. But like you say, now you sort of penned into this one building.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stopgap. Nice nade on in, and 2 players are Alliance full. That should be this fight done and dusted. These recall beacons, I'm not even going to think about getting Easy for Bad Boy. Does step out though, and a little bit too bold. Doesn't clear that last player, but DRX might do it for him. Oh dear. Alliance. Now he's checking. I mean, he did check the corner. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Glory, not so lucky. I mean, this whole fight. Wait, GK?
باش عليهم.
No. Look, somehow Snowick's got the res off for Boars. They're back
Oh!
dropping on top of DRX again.
Oh my goodness. This is getting crazy on the north side. Geek are rocking up into this fight as well. Alliance last player is doing a lot against Arcred with the assistance of Geek. And as you just said, Boars are back up at 4 fighting off against DRX.
Yeah, babe.
We thought that was going to be a huge point.
Yeah, Zurmig, yeah.
But no, maybe not. They're going to still cling on for dear life. Another nade comes in. Oh, it's Verse Pro. They're in the circle blank against E-Arena.
Yeah, they've made it. They've made it. It was an interesting decision they made earlier, but now
Oh
they need
my
to deal
God.
with E-Arena, who are currently down on 3 players, but these initial nades are fantastic, and now Malloy has a lot to do here as a solo.
Real tall order, Malloy gets the first though. That's how you want to start. Third of HP gone, and will take the rest from...
भाई ये मैप में क्या सारे
That is VP down and out. They get 4 points.
सारे लंबा यूज करते हैं क्या?
Captured our minds in the first part of this match. We'll have to
Oh.
convene with them later on. I'm sure Seven's going to grab them, pull them aside by the scruff of their neck and say, what do you think you're doing? We'll have to wait for the answers there. Boars back up into the fight against DRX, and seemingly DRX looking to struggle a little bit. With that recall coming on through, they may be able to farm a couple more points, but the Boars turning it around.
Now they are. I mean, for DRX, the thing in my mind is a case of, oh, they let it go through so they can farm more points on the lobby. I imagine you never want to let that happen because now they've got to get further in. A nade over the top from So Easy doesn't quite tag on. But yeah, I mean, the loot is pretty limited for the Boars after they dropped in. You get whatever kit you're given. Boars now last player remaining. Not able to quite find that shot though, and that leaves So Easy down. Hikes, they should be able to clean house though. Either way, 8 elims.
DRX ने 2 player
Yeah, that's how you want to do it. At the moment, Regnum Kaya have not been able to get anything so far. They've been quiet on the western side, one of the few teams to stay west of this river blank, and they have been keeping out of things. So at the moment, DRX take the top
8
spot.
kill कर दिए भाई
How
DRX
survivable
ने.
will it
Wow.
be from that northern side? And a knockover
By
would plan
sub.
behind for Regnum Kaya.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you.
Not something they're really going to be going back for. So they're playing on as 3.
Chicken.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Arena wale.
with a high ground as well.
WBG, INF,
circle here. Kike's forced to
Kike.
off the back of some unfortunate starts there. My ghouls
DRX
are
है.
recovering.
DRX भी
Nuclear
कर सकती है.
Becoming some nuclear zombies here in the lobby.
Oh, what's up?
This is one hell of a story arc, and a not so strong arc on that nade, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to still keep bobbling them through, not connecting onto the ghouls. Godspeed.
No.
In range of the shotgun, not quite. And Arthur hops back into the face of another. That's a really nice pickup and an immediate flush for Yatka. Leaving Nuclear Zone now just on 1 player alive. See if they can beat Team Secret's tally from Group Green as they crush on over the ghouls, looking to go nuclear against Nuclear Zone. Sweeping through the rest of it, but Ichi goes down, and the blue zone is causing a little bit of trouble here. Without recall beacons now, you do need to be careful, and they will guaranteed lose 1. Tried to close the door on him, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, he did.
No
He
way.
did close the door on him, and he got knocked because of it and flushed. Radioactive ghouls now looking to push things up, but Fajita is a little bit of a strong member on the side of Nuclear.
لا ليش رجعت ورا؟
But it's Kaikse from DRX actually to move on in. The Burmese ghouls will have to do something about this. Luckily, there's some shots from the sidelines.
DRX का एक बंदा रह गया.
Down.
DRX are down to 1 with that as well. They've only got QXZ out down further south here. Burmese ghouls, they've been double third party to keep them alive as 3 and allow them to get some healing on board, but they are really lacking on that healing. No first aids remaining, no nades really there. DRX dropping that deployable cover.
पाकिस्तान की टीम 6 तारीख को खेलेगी 6
on this
तारीख को.
northeastern side. Frankham Kaya yet to push in. Weibo actually the team to go proactively through. And the cover flares start to establish some cover moving in. Burmese ghouls making their move.
Now, bless the ghouls with some gravestones to hide behind here. Hopefully they can make their way through the marshes over towards DRX. But True Rippers actually have a strong spot over on the eastern side. They're consistently taking shots over towards the west. Weibo did take a fair bit of damage coming through from Influence Rage. You can't really ever count Influence Rage out. All those players are incredibly good. And I'm a bit disappointed that they're not in a top 3 after their strong start of Group Red. Either way, all the teams up here are super deserving of their spot, and the teams that I expected to make it through anyway.
ले गए भाई DRX वाले बाहर हो गए.
Spotted.
120 पॉइंट है DRX का भाई.
They seemingly love a bit of rondo on this final day for themselves, trying to get away from 11th place. Still, I think a little bit too tall of an order to get up towards 3rd place, Blank, but you know what that means? You're going to be able to see them in last chance. And if they get to the grand finals, they're going to be one of our most played teams, I suppose. Unless we get a gauntlet team also. Okay, I'm not going to continue to do this maths, but still, you'll be happy to see them again.
I would, yeah. Definitely a lot to go over there in a short amount of time, which we do not have, as we are coming to a close here on Rondo at stage 5. Moving to stage 6 soon. Regnum Kaya officially do outlast DRX, but they don't out-elim them.
Boom!
9 total.
شغالين فريق عراقي شغالين بعد ما شاء الله.
Leaving just Lil Boy up and remaining. I think Lil Boy is definitely not someone you want to back into a corner though, because he can strike out quite wildly in these final moments. Weibo didn't even really want to touch Influence Rage after they took a few knocks from them.
I mean, Weibo are back to full force now, though. I did see Sook still has that explosive bow. Maxman's really very happy. He's only got the 1, though, so maybe not quite there. I mean, there's the shots coming over through to Twisted Minds, having a tough time. They're going to have to move further east as well. They're regrouping all towards it. They're fully committing to a pretty much full front fight with just this duo from Influence Rage. Can't get rid of them. All you need to do is land one nade properly, and that should be them done and dusted, but Twisted Mind's struggling, and Little Boy steps out for the spray. Weibo are taking shots out towards them as well. They just don't have any room to maneuver.
I mean, that's why you can't count out Lil Boy. He is such a good player on the squad. Really holds his nerve as well. But there's the Ghouls taking a shot over towards Sook. Finding at least one elim there over towards Weibo, and that's from up on.
يا اخي بتطلع في اوبن لازم يبولك لا تطلع في اوبن.
They've been playing with 3 for a long while, and it's been not an easy locations. During Gauntlet, this was a circle where Regnum Kai was able to pick himself a 2nd place, hoping to finish off here with a 1st, considering, you know, Gauntlet was a much harder stage.
No. That Molotov started to burn, but their play zone actually got that knock over towards Twisted Minds. They're playing as 4. They couldn't get on through. I mean, you said Regnum Kaya, they came 2nd from this position back in the Gauntlet. They did manage to sneak their way through onto this one, I think it's safe to say. Weibo didn't control them moving on in. They were all the way on that northern side, just to the west of where Burmese Ghouls are right now. Looks like they're going to try and poke their noses in too.
Oh, Little Boy's still going here. It's a good kickoff. For him, I don't think he was too unhappy with the play zone stealing away an elim for him, because he's already laddered up in towards placement points. So it's a give and take there for Lil Boy. Gemma Backpack does finally run out of juice though, so he's going to start taking big damage.
मुझे क्यों ऐसे लग रहा है इंडियन टीम चिकन करेगी.
To rotate in. They do get
شكل الهنود بيبون الجيم
though, at least.
Yeah, it looks like, Unknown gets clipped as well, so Yatka not going to be able to get them back up, more than likely. And Regnum Kaya up 2 elims now, Blank. They're chasing down that 120. They want to stay ahead of DRX, and Lil Boy will finally go down to Weibo, playing as 3 after losing Sook. In the meantime, Regnum Kaya trying to step up, but True Rippers, I mean...
अच्छा इंडियन टीम रह गई या इंडियन टीम रह गई भाई.
South, they've got a pretty solid hold onto this one.
कौन करेगी हसन? चलो देखते हैं.
Pretty slow game here. I think they did a good job of controlling over towards the north side though, to be able to confirm onto this position. And as of 4, they have a massive chance to close out this game. I'm imagining a lot of Indian fans will be very happy with them if they're able to make it happen, which by all means they should. I'd like to see a little bit more of a flex out come stage 7 as teams start to diminish more and more, and you can see Hydro going for this. I really like Hydro as a player. I think he does try and take as many opportunities as possible, and I think he has the chops on him to do it.
India karegi chicken.
Hydro homie going on in right now for the
TRX karegi chicken.
Off angles good.
TRX chicken karegi. Farq hindi bhi bolne game.
To have a tough time on the south side.
देख लो.
Kaya might have a better time.
देख लो.
Circle.
देख ले Hasan. TRX chicken karegi.
It's gleeful for Regnum Kaya right now, right? Moves
लेकिन
completely
वो
off
zone
of
से
that
बाहर है.
position. And the tables are completely turned on this one. Even with 3 players,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is a game now that Regnum Kaya should be looking to close out.
Yeah, from this spot, it's great. I mean, if you do look at it, though, it's still pretty uncomfortable for Regnum Kaya. It's like an open location up a hilltop, so you have to be 360 degrees on this. Luckily for them, a lot of the teams on the outer edge are going to start fighting first for position before attempting to fight against Regnum Kaya.
Ooh.
Shot from Jelly over towards Sakura on the
Ooh,
cross.
Jelly.
Will result in
Hydra,
knock
bhai.
from him, and Hydra will do the rest. So that leaves
Hush.
3 teams. 3 Rippers with 4.
3 kills.
With just 3. But look at all the utility that True Rippers have been able to maintain here.
Something I didn't consider is that True Rippers are holding this eastern side of the hill against any other team, and now that they are no longer holding it, they themselves can take it. That might make it a little bit harder for Regnum Kaya. Weibo really suffering here on this south side. Just could not transition further north, but still a pretty solid game for them. Getting up to 9.
bhai sahab.
In the conversation for a 3rd place.
Yaar, Indian team chicken karegi bhai.
They want to try and rack up as many as possible. Maximum they can get though is 9 on this match. A33Z down in the divot. They will.
अच्छा और इंडियन और रेगनर गाया का रेगनर गाना का last है.
Repositioning here, nice and proactive.
I think they were a little slow, actually. I think they were a little slow to this.
4v3 देखते हैं क्या होता है. 4v3
Weibo pretty much unimpeded. I think now the big thing is whether
अगर इंडियन टीम ने पोटी की यहाँ पे,
but
they are
if they do
useless.
lose this game will be because
Seriously, they are useless अगर
slight
पोटी किया.
hesitation. That is a bold peek out coming through from Zed Wolf there on the right hand side.
I mean, they definitely did not want to get stuck into that 3rd party, right? They moved across nice and rapidly, but after that, they just, yeah, you're right. They could have controlled the fight a little bit more, and they don't have that opportunity anymore. Wild immediately finds Hydro on the trade, and they're looking for more. Not really moving, and that nade looks pretty good, Blank. That might find what they're looking for. Not quite getting a knock, not quite getting a flush. There's an answer over towards Wild, but Zed Wolf has some of his own. The cover flares start to drop from the sky. And it is necessary to get this res to keep the numbers advantage on side for True Rippers, facing off against Regnum Kaya. Both teams pretty desperate for these points. Regnum Kaya more for pride than anything to jump up towards that top spot again.
यार ये क्या चल रहा है?
True Rippers have eaten pretty much all their utility already. They were on like 12 nades, they're now to 2. Regnum Kaya have 3 more to work with. So I'm not sure where all those nades went from True Rippers. We're coming through thick and fast. Yeah, we're setting things up here. Right now, Regnum Kaya does control a lot of the zone to work with. But True Rippers back up to 4. How they deal with this slice across from Regnum Kaya will be determining how this game ends, John.
Wallah.
I mean, if Zed Wolf had a nade or 2 here,
यार ये क्या हो रहा है?
different story. But this is, I mean, this is fairly masterful for Regnum Kaya. A little bit allowed to do this by the fact that True Rippers didn't.
ये देख कैसे? ये देख नीचे वाले को.
Fast enough, or at least push towards the northern side.
هلا تحت ولا تحت.
All the way down south with Weibo.
यार मुझे क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है इंडियन टीम पोटी करेगी?
Try and push onto Loxy with 2 or 3 of your players for True Rippers. So they did miss the opportunity there.
Victor Dada.
As a foreman, you always take those pushes because
والله حرام على اللاعب التعبان والله.
The most dominant force in the lobby at that point in time. If for Regnum Kaya, this is a very easy lineup for them. They have the peak over, but True Rippers, they're forced out into the open.
निहाल ठाकुर वेलकम. निहाल ठाकुर, अगर तुम्हारी टीम ने पोटी की, इनका कोई फायदा नहीं है. इनको सपोर्ट करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है. मुझे लग रहा है पोटी करेंगे अभी. ओए
Nade over from Wild.
Oh
Finds
my
Hydro. A massive opener. The answer.
हाइड्रा नॉक हो गया भाई
A little bit off target, unfortunately. Jelly's trying to flank around and find Loxy. Allow them to get a little bit forward. Another nade expended, and it's not going to find the value. Wilds does again. Burns Hydro's health bar down, and I don't think you're going to commit for this res. Maybe you look for it, but the blue zone is pushing. Another nade in, and Jelly and Loxy's fight on the northern side is popping off. You can see that fight in the picture-in-picture down below. Jelly.
यार दूसरी दफा रिवाइव हुआ है दूसरी दफा
Known. Hydro back to his feet. True Rippers, they're not going down without a fight, but we'll
Yaar!
see if they're able to find it. Wild moving forward. Loxy still in combat. They're moving together, and there's no more nades left for Regnum Kaya. True Rippers have the divots, may be able to make some inroads here. The forward position.
ये क्या चल रहा है
Troopers do back off. That res though really slowed them down, and it's a hard decision to make whether you play on as 3 there and go for the 3v3 or go for the res, but it does delay them and pushes them further and further up towards this wall, which isolates these angles
Wild.
for Regnum Kaya.
Wolf as well up on the high ground. One player
Whoa!
slow, maybe looking for a trade. 2 for 1 right now, but it's an even 2v2. Loxy on the low ground versus Jelly. Zed
Whoa!
as well.
Whoa!
It's harsh. He's going low, but he wins that trade by the skin of his teeth.
ओह!
Loxy's down though, and Jelly in a 1v1. Oh, Regnum Kaya just about stay alive.
क्या हगा कैसे पटी किया
But they close it down. A 9-point chicken dinner. The True Rippers gave
यार ऐसे टट्टी गेम
They had a total of 2 HP at the end of that fight blank, but nonetheless, that
अल्लाह माफ करे खेलो ही नहीं PUBG Mobile वालों
a blockade from Regnum Kaya.
यार टट्टी की है इन लोग ने
Very well played from Regnum Kaya, but again,
What
he's-
the hell?
Lose that player in the end game. I think that the aggressive and the correct play would be to go on as 3 and try and get a little bit more momentum over towards that front side. Even better than that was 5 minutes ago when Regnum Kaya was fighting
Seriously?
towards the ridge. Control that high ground. Don't allow Regnum Kaya to get that lineup across there.
I'm sorry Indians, I'm really sorry. ये तुम्हारी real team नहीं है.
I mean, they were going
I'm
fairly
sorry.
toe to toe there with
I'm
Regnum
sorry.
Kaya, right? And they just don't push quite
ये टीम आई है बदनाम करने
Not taken. The opportunity
इंडियन
to
PUBG
find
Mobile को
yet.
बदनाम करने
Regnum
ये
Kaya,
टीम
though,
आई है
top of the
that's
tables
it
again.
क्या टट्टी की है इन लोगों ने यार अपने हाथों से चिकन गवा दिया भाई रगनार गामिया भाई टर्किश टीम है भाई देखा कैसे 3 वर्सेस 4 3 बंदे वो है टर्किश 4 TRX वाले 2 दफा नॉक हुआ है हाइड्रा दोनों दफा रिवाइव मिला है हश की तरफ से फिर भी जाके पोटी किया है ये तो फिर सलूट है yeah I'm sorry yaar brothers I'm really sorry Nihal brother sorry brother का है Porsche का गिव अवे देखो हमने अनाउंसमेंट की है लेकिन क्या होगा गिव अवे में ये सरप्राइज है मिस्ट्री गिफ्ट होगा नहीं ये थकी हुई टीम है ये इंडिया की रियल टीम नहीं है I'm sorry to say this. I'm so sorry.
We're used to seeing maybe from some of the other games, some of the other wins we've had from them, but 9 eliminations, that's a 19-point game on the boards, and I think they're just kind of going to run away with it a little bit here.
They are. Oh yeah, it's there's no way no one's catching them. I mean, they've got this lobby locked down here, Max.
Yeah, it's a done.
ये टीम जा रही है ग्रैंड फाइनल ये टीम जा रही है DRX के साथ.
By the way, we had this exact circle during the gauntlet stage. It was won by Thunder Talk, but Regnum Kaya, they're like, no, not again. We ain't missing out on a free win right now. And
वालेकुम
they
सलाम,
played it really
वालेकुम
well.
सलाम। इतना प्रेशर के साथ गेम खेल रहे हो यार। हलवा चिकन डिनर है तुम्हारे सामने, हलवा।
Controlling of that ridgeline, Niptura, and that setup in the mid to late game transition was literally what won them this entire match on Rondo.
Yeah, it was really nice as well to see that there was no hesitancy once they got those initial knocks onto Weibo, right, to just go ahead, push it, spread out in a really controlled sort of way, very calm, very collected. I think as we said in the, while we were watching it, right, super calm, super... No!
What? Niptura, I know you wanted to talk about it. Why?
Yes. Just... Okay, I want to see them in finals just so that I can talk. VP, I just want to talk. I just want to talk. That's it. Definitely not anything else. Let me tell you something. What are you doing? You were already in zone. I'm so confused by that play. Like, it makes sense. I thought they were going to, like, maybe do that for the solo that was still out in the blue and then just try and recall him, bring him back into the circle. Great. 10,000 IQ play. Not to go back. You're regressing. Go forward in the game. Don't go back and then they come in. They're like, oh, we've made it to zone. Into EA's arms. Okay, just give the points over. It's fine. VP. No.
You know, we need help. YouTube
Seriously यार निहाल,
tell us, put us your
इससे अच्छा तो OG के लिए यार, इससे अच्छा तो OG के लिए कसम से।
What the game plan was as we go through the finishing moments, they can see how hyped Regnum Kara were, and of course, as we already said, Hot Jukes pretty much locking in their position for the grand finals. 19 points is definitely going to do that for you, but Weibo getting 14 points, they were in the middle of the pack, and DRX were in second place. They also get 10 points, most of them on boars, if I'm not mistaken, after the recall. So DRX, big farming up north.
Oh, yeah, I think DRX are settling down in that second place position as well, putting up some points. Honestly, though, the big mover and shaker for me, it's got to be Weibo.
अच्छा, top 1 पे Turkish आ गया, DRX रीसेट top 2 पे आ गई।
How well they could do it, Erangel.
19 point भाई, 19 point, मजाक नहीं है।
I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more proactiveness when it came to maybe sweeping the edges and clearing out more space for themselves in this game. But for a first game of the day, it's a really solid start. 14 points on the board. You know, when the leaderboards are still so close that I think it's a really good setup for a confident next game when we get onto Erangel.
You got also two very important points here. Is that True Rippers get 9 points, which is great, but E-Arena get 9 points. Team Flash, 1 point. I believe they're gonna be very close to one another in the leaderboards. I don't think E-Arena jump in third just yet, but literally just a good game.
Yeah.
Depending on how Team Flash perform.
Faisal Malik की तरफ से gift आया है.
Wild. Are we surprised, Niptura?
No.
Faisal Malik की तरफ से gift आया ये.
No. No, not at all, man.
ये कीबोर्ड फैसल मलिक की तरफ से गिफ्ट आया। तो चैलेंज हमें फैसल मलिक ने दिया था, हमने चैलेंज पूरा किया और ये प्यारा सा कीबोर्ड, खूबसूरत सा कीबोर्ड हमें गिफ्ट आया है।
It is true. Hey, that end game was pretty wild. That's a fact there. You know what, guys?
प्यारा सा खूबसूरत सा कीबोर्ड, बड़ा प्यारा यार, खूबसूरत। Amazing keyboard, amazing. Thank you, Faisal Malik. Thank you once again, Faisal Malik, for the keyboard.
No willingness to commit once they did make that push. They slowed down significantly. But here we go, leaderboard. No movement from 9th position and above.
और ये इसका mouse.
It's not moving.
Mouse नहीं दिखा सकता। ये mouse
I do think that here, just once you especially find you have the man advantage, I feel like that
nice
gift. They would have full committed, because if they get a big game, chances are maybe they would be inside and just barely able to make in top 11.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jelly had a really great offense.
First match था, GG first match था। Oh, 130 point भाई।
Push forward and try and be.
REG का।
He was just a little bit too careful.
DRX का 120।
If he had been a bit more into that angle,
competition tough है, competition tough है।
But Regnum won the game, and Regnum get 130 points. DRX are at 120. We're starting to see a little bit of a point gap here, guys, because Flash with 108, it's not undoable. Of course, EA with 105. I mean, we got several teams now with 100 points. But it's starting to be run away with. If Regnum can get some top 5 finishes or just some high elan games.
Nice keyboard. Thank you, Nihal. Thakur.
And we saw Weibo popping off with the explosive bow on that hot drop, right? If he does it again, hey, 6 more points. If Flash gets 0 points, and he could be our new podium squad. Weibo looking really solid. Influence Razor, Hot Jukes, where are they gone?
Yeah.
Had a stellar start here on day one for Group Red, and ever since they kind of fizzled out.
Chance
To really bring too much to the table.
100% chance है हसन 100% chance है
Destroying Twisted Minds on the western side.
अगर
plays, but
एक चिकन उनके एक चिकन WBG एक चिकन करे ना 20 पॉइंट के साथ बूम ऊपर आज ताबड़तोड़ डू और डाई वाला सीन है आज ग्रैंड फाइनल के लिए 3 टीमों को डू और die wala scene
towards the end with the blue zone on your back is pretty dang tough. So he's definitely trying to keep his team alive.
Full do or die wala
we
scene
didn't see like changes in the rankings, Niptura, but we did see that, you know, Weibo was behind Flash 19 points going into today.
Yes.
Now it's down to 7. So that gap is getting closer than ever here.
Brand, welcome, Brand.
It really is. And if you're Flash, you're starting to get a little bit nervous, right? And I really hope that means that they're not, that doesn't mean that they're going to get super pressured, right? Because they've been having a really good Group Red stage, right? It's been so easy for them just because of that first day. They were able to just pop off and get all the points they needed. Now the other teams are starting to go, oh, it's day 3.
Grand final में चली जाए 6 तारीख को हमारे मैचेस हैं
They just need to make sure they keep that consistency, because if they play the way they've been playing the last 2 days, we are going to see them in the top 3 for sure. They are good enough to do that. They have shown us time and time again that they can beat out a lot of these global teams. They just need to stay ahead of the curve just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think that I'm looking at Arcred in particular. We're looking at the squads above them, your Influence Rage, Weibo, Arena, but I'm telling you, Arcred, just like Go Team in their respective group, right, were a big surprise. I feel like Arcred could be the ones to come in swinging and steal a position literally last minute. So keep an eye out. Uzbekistan, they're scary.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? I'm really just starting to
Dark
think
Shadow,
about
thank you, brother.
Year, right?
Thank you.
Because we had the storyline at the start of day number 2, right? The new kings versus the OGs, right? Regnum Karya, they are so used to the situation, and that's why they are thriving, right? How is Flash gonna handle this pressure? We talked about at the start of the day, right? Pressure is so difficult to overcome. It is now at its peak. With Weibo doing good now, Flash have to be able to settle down and put up some points here in Niptura.
They do. I just hope that they don't change up their rotations or their strategy in any big way, right, Max? I think you might agree with that there, because it's just like they've done so well with their strategy as is. Don't change it just because some teams are starting to put up some big points. That's not enough reason. If you start feeling like you're getting taken out on rotations a lot more today,
MVP मालूम नहीं किसको मिला है मुझे मैंने नहीं देखा तुम लोग ने MVP किसको मिला है मैं नहीं जानता
oh, we need to keep to ourselves now because other teams are doing big things. It's like, no, make sure that you have presence as well. Make sure that you have what you want to do, and actually say to the other teams, you can't bully us out of our top 3 position. We've come here, we've earned it so far, we will continue to
Sam, इनको बताना 6 दिसंबर को पाकिस्तान IC की मैचेस होंगे 6 दिसंबर को
PMGC lobby. Guess what? Maybe what we've been doing so far ain't that bad, so maybe you should just keep it going.
हफ्ते के दिन
Definitely go for it. By the way, I do want to point out, Niptura's got a new chair.
Let's go!
It's cool. Upgraded PMGC chair. I didn't realize. I just saw it. Congrats on the chair. Yeah. Great desk.
It's very comfy.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah, you got that IMAX, man. You can see that chair rotation real quick, right? You know what? And it's so crazy when we talk about these top squads. You know, one thing that's interesting that stood out to me, because it just kind of just hit me like a light bulb moment. You know, the fact that Sook from Weibo uses that explosive blow.
Walaikum salam, walaikum salam.
It's so good because it just blows up everything and you can kind of get some really good things happening there for you. But what it also does is it's a dead giveaway of who you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's be real. If your team Flash, Weibo is creeping up on your leaderboards, if I hear that explosive bone in your back, I'm like, that's Sook! Weibo, they're right there. Let's go, right? So I mean, there is something that could come into play a little bit. What do you think, Max?
Are we gonna see some Sook impersonators? Just like, what if I fake being Sook? They'll think we're Weibo and they might run away. Okay, no, that's I'm reading too much into it.
Weibo की बहुत बात हो रही है यहाँ पे.
If you see there's an explosive bow being used, like chances are 99% of the chance that's going to be Sook. And if Weibo are in a top 3 position and they do clash with your likes of maybe E-Arena or Influence Rage or Arcred, they're like, well, maybe this is a fight that's worth taking at that point in time. So I don't know if it's going to be like a big thing, Niptura, but it is something that, like, if they do spot it out and it does make sense to take a fight with Weibo at that time, maybe it could do something in this lobby.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a calling card, right? It's like as soon as you see that explosive bow, you know exactly.
Inshallah,
who
Hassan,
that is.
inshallah, inshallah,
I think
qualify
Six's gonna have to be
karegi,
a little bit
inshallah.
more careful with how he plays those big old plays, just because that is going to be now a target on his back. It's a good point to make.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be interested to see if we're going to continue to see it in the next few matches.
Chalo,
I mean,
second match
anytime
start
is good
hone
as
wala hai.
now, right? Because he did get that first elim with the explosive bow, that knock with the explosive bow on Rondo. We saw it for the first time after 2 days, so maybe that's just his his sign to just keep on going with it.
I think so, because you know what? It plays in two different ways, right? There is that way of where it could be a disadvantage because you kind of let people know who you are, but it also could be an advantage because it lets people know who
ये
you
थकी हुई
are.
team
You
है,
know what I'm
honestly,
saying?
थकी हुई
Like
team है
sometimes
ये.
like you can be a team like, oh,
इससे अच्छा
it's
OG
Rainbow,
है.
and then that could make them second
इससे
guess
अच्छा OG
themselves.
team है यार.
It's happened plenty times before where you realize the squad who it is and all of a sudden you get so nervous, you panic, and it makes things so difficult here, Max Man. So man, it's just something to consider for sure. Weibo and Erangel is going to be the biggest thing here. We need to see that day one Weibo for sure if they want to make it to the grand finals.
Oh, definitely. I feel like it's just a matter of time. Weibo, they're not going to fumble. They're going to get second place, as we know. Suk loves second place. If he can be in first place, he's like, hell nah. I want second place. That's how I do it in PL. That's how I do it at PMGC.
इनके मुंह उधार है.
Doing it every time.
लटके में मुंह है इनके.
We're talking about players like Suk and stuff. I'm really wondering, the day we get, if we get the mortar in PUBG Mobile Esport, if it comes to who would be the mortar guy? There's got to be someone like Suk, Doc. They're good with it. Phallic. I don't know. There's a few options.
There is a few options. I don't know why my second thought was top. First was Suk, then was top.
If he can't shoot you with a
We're
Mini
gonna talk
14,
APG.
just snipe you with a mortar shell. You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have one.
He kinda,
you gotta have one player
right?
for sure.
Right?
Especially if you get like a Milta finish and you realize that like OP dip is in play. Because I think when mortars come out, guys, OP dip is dead as a spot. Like completely.
Oh yeah.
If it does, it is OP. I don't know if it ever will. If it does, though, it will be cool.
I think it was OP. I think it was, but now teams have got like they know that's every crevice of that spot. So it's so weak from the backside. People just drive up, throw nades, and then it's just chaos, right? I think it's a strong spot towards like the absolute late game, but taking it early now. I mean, we've seen like in this lobby, teams like third party, fourth party, and it's just craziness there.
It is hectic. I mean, I was talking about the mortar, but I get your point. Also, yeah, OP dip is quite interesting as a position on Erangel, the grassy pastures. But yeah, now onto Erangel. Curious to see who's going to be able to step up to the plate, Niptra. I mean, are we going to see Blank's Ghouls do something? Are they going to win an Erangel? I'm still waiting to see a big Erangel game from the Ghouls.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be very interesting because, you know, we did see them get that win on Rondo. Now we need to see them get the win on Erangel if they're going to do anything, right? Because they are a team that needs to do something here. 9th place overall, still a safe enough position for them to get into last chance, but if they really want to make sure that they've got that spot, yeah, a win I think would be the best option for them. Of course, a win's going to be the best option for any team, right? But for them in particular to solidify that chance and make sure that they're not feeling as pressured for the rest of the day, you know, you want to get that win as soon as possible.
I know I've been repeating myself, but we need to continue the Yangon Galacticos Myanmar legacy. To some extent, we've got to keep it going, okay? I was very sad when they didn't qualify through PMCL. But here, of course, they're trying to hold the hopes high for the entire Myanmar region in PUBG Mobile Esport, which is growing rapidly, by the way. I'm very, very curious to see how they're going to be performing as a region going into 2026. Because, yeah, it's so cool to see these regions rise up at Hodgix, right? So, like, this year was the year of clearly... Myanmar with PMWC. Last year, in my opinion, was the year of Japan. The best year Japan ever had, winning PMGO second place.
It's too soon.
Into PMWC at the halfway point that was eventually won by Alpha 7. I'm wondering which region will be the new rising region of PUBG Mobile Esport in 2026. There's so many good options, man.
Yeah, so many indeed. You know, it made me sick to see that we're not going to see Team Japan in the grand finals here this year. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's back and forth, right? The lobby changes. We notice that teams like level up every single year, and you got to definitely just be prepared for that. You know, I'm looking at the back at the leaderboards here in Neptura. For me personally, it's really interesting because we're seeing such dominance. This is what I predict. We're going to see Regnum Karya DRX just run with the rest of the lobby. I think they're in a position just like where it's just going to keep on happening. So you got one slot available. It's still possible for teams like GK and Arc Red to make it happen, but I think it's all on this first Erangel. I think they have to win it. If they don't, there's no
Javed
shot.
Rajput.
I would agree with that. I think if you're not going to get the win, then you need to get a really controlled,
Yeah, Thailand
strong game
mein,
with a lot
Thailand
of
mein.
eliminations, top 3, top 5, something like that, right? I think top 3. A win is always going to be your best shot. Market and Geek, you know, they're kind of 20, 30 points away. For the first game, I'd be very happy with just seeing their macro, seeing them trying to control portions of the zone, trying to see them, you know, sweep edges, get as many elims as possible. If they don't get the win, that's okay. I just want to see that momentum starting to build from a team in this first Erangel.
Max, you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that overall. I'm just looking at the leaderboards. I'm looking like, what's the cutoff right now? Has it changed? It hasn't really changed right now. It's still 8th position and above. Maybe Burmese Ghouls can still do a jump up. They got 73 points. Technically, it's the 3rd ranked place.
ओ पाजी ओए की हो गया रिलैक्स हो जाओ
You know what?
कोई बात नहीं पोटी की है कोई बात नहीं
Last fight with Regnum Karya. Jelly is on the stage with the 7WG. Let's go and hear what this guy has to say.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by Hydra from True Rippers, a team that finished in 2nd place. They definitely could have gotten the win, if I'm being completely honest. Why was True Rippers against Regnum Karya, especially team?
उस टाइम पे हमारे पास राइट का इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं था जस्ट हमारी लेफ्ट साइड वाली एरिया हमने क्लियर किया था एंड हमारे पास लूट की कमी थी तो उस टाइम पे हमारे लूट और उस सब में थोड़ा सा दिमाग चला गया था एंड जैसे ही हमें राइट का इन्फॉर्मेशन आया कि राइट क्लियर एंड देयर इज़ ओनली 1 टीम लेफ्ट तो उस टाइम पे हमने लेफ्ट का प्ले बनाने का ट्राई किया बट वहाँ पर थोड़ा बहुत हमारा चोक हुआ उसकी वजह से हमारा मैच थ्रो हो गया बट वी विल वर्क ऑन दैट एंड ये वापस ना हो
2 दफा नॉक होके रिवाइव हुआ है
have a proper info about right side and
कैसे राइट साइड का नहीं मालूम था 4 बंदे थे चारों बंदे एक साइड पे हो गया दिमाग देखो
and they are accepting that mistake and they are going to come back next stronger.
Yes. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate that you even used the word choke because that's definitely what it was, but it is all about timing here at PMGC. I can't
delete PUBG Mobile, my friend. Delete it.
Continue to learn, you'll continue to improve. Make it to last chance. Shukriya, bye. Back to y'all.
Shukriya, bye कह रहा है.
Well, you heard it. You heard it from the itself, right? They knew that this was their game to win. And they lost it, right? You could see the look on their faces. I always am interested whenever we get these player camps. We saw it a little earlier. You could see the frustration in them talking to each other. But they seem to be focused, which is good because they need to focus up here big time if they want to make it the last chance, Max.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try and make their best. It's good to see at least during the interview they know what was the main mistake, so they can try and learn from that and build upon it.
Yeah, well, you know what, guys? We got the next game coming up soon. I appreciate everybody for being patient with us right here because, man, it's so dang close, you know. Personally,
they should play Free Fire.
That mid-pack of trying to get a top 3, I think you got to go for it, like without a shadow of a doubt. I think this is the game because, personally, from what I've seen so far, Arc Red, Geek, I don't know if they're going to make it the last chance, guys, considering that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's last chance is going to be so dang stacked. It's only 2 days and only 2 teams are moving forward, right? So if you consider all that, you got to kind of look at this as like, hey, this is it, right? If we want to make it to the grand finals, we got to pull something out here. So I don't want to see them play show at all. I think they got to go nuts, Max.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's only 1 slot remaining here. I think Team Flash might be the one to fall. GRX right now are looking mighty scary, so only 1 team can make that comeback happen.
We'll be right back after this break, guys. Don't go anywhere.
I don't think any MSL champion teams are stronger than us.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبك لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك. بالتاكيد يعني احنا ابطال بي ام اس ال عربي MENA region من افضل الريجنات في العالم.
Tụi tôi khá là tự tin ạ, tại vì chúng tôi là đương kim vô địch C nên chúng tôi không sợ. Chúng tôi đã đạt được 4 top 1 trong một ngày thì chúng tôi đến đây mục tiêu phá kỷ lục chúng tôi sẽ cố gắng sẽ được 6 top 1 trong một ngày.
I think we will qualify straight to the final.
إذا أنت بطل بي ام اس ال ممكن تكون محظوظ بجيم جيمين، اما انك تكون محظوظ انك تفوز بطوله هذا الشيء مستحيل.
Bên Milan tại vì họ là một đội mới
Gatia phone है Gatia.
sẽ có những tâm lý khá là bất ngờ.
Büyük ihtimal Wolves derdim.
I think probably Virtus Pro just looks like that.
Нельзя, блядь, сказать, что они удачливые, что они нормально сыграли. Там нет неудачных, те, кто на удачу играет. Я посмотрел, типа, фавориты своих регионов выиграли.
Wolves Esports, they have Coops, best player in the world in my opinion.
Đội VP tại vì bên khu vực đấy khá là căng thẳng và họ chơi những bản tâm nhìn từ những ngày đầu tiên.
İyiler, kötü değiller ama heyecanlı oynuyorlar.
Я считаю, что из всех победителей PMSL мы являемся самой сильной командой.
Virtus Pro çok iyi oynadı. DX zaten bu PUBG Mobile oynadığımdan beri hiç sevmiyorum oyun tarzlarını. Kendilerini seviyorum ama oyun tarzlarını hiç sevmiyorum. Yani
यार ये टीम बड़ी अच्छी है, so honestly यार.
MENA bölgesi demek istiyorum. Oradaki takımları biraz daha vurmak kolay diyebilirim. Main fight.
Silar. I don't think any PMSL champion teams are stronger than us.
Я думаю, для нашей команды будет легче всего зарабатывать только на плюсах из Америки.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبك لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك.
Em muốn gửi một lời nhắc đến đội team vô địch BMSL Milan là cách chơi của họ có thể là khá là ổn ở bên khu vực đấy, nhưng ra đây chúng tôi chưa chắc các bạn đã làm được.
Yes, I think we have a lower experience than the other teams, but I think this is benefits us. It's in our advantage because the teams don't know how we're really going to play.
Yalla! Yalla भाई गेम स्टार्ट होने वाला है भाई. Oh my yes. गिव अवे आप बताएंगे अनस. एहसन अनस क्या नाम है आपका? MFS तारिक वालेकुम सलाम. When did start these people? अभी start होने लगा खलास.
Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you guys being so patient with us before we get match number 2 started. First,
By give
here with Maxman
room
and
होगा
Neptura, here to give you guys some more information before we get started. Now,
कौन सा room?
we did get a little bit of a clarification.
मैं कल पता चलेगा सब कुछ. कल गिव अवे कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, क्या नहीं, सब कल बताएंगे.
They didn't have proper information. The actual translation was they didn't have proper loot. Okay, so he actually accused us saying that we were underlooted there towards the end game, and that was the reason why we weren't able to clutch it up. What do you think about that answer, Max?
I don't know why.
देखो ये फारूक ने क्या लिखा, ये फारूक ने सही बोला है. फारूक जो बोल रहा है वही है.
Unfortunately, bad loot happens, right? But I don't think, looking at the actual game there, I don't think loot was like the thing to like, they don't have enough loot. That didn't sound to me like the main core issue here, Niptra. I think they just didn't show true willingness to commit to the fight with Regan Karya. So, yeah, I think that's a bit of a scapegoat answer coming out in an interview.
I mean, we could definitely see, right, that they didn't have any nades, and nades would have 100% helped. Some utility would have helped in that fight. But I have to agree with Max that apart from that, there was also just not a willingness to fight, and I feel like that's a really good description of that. They just weren't ready to commit to that fight in the way that they should have and in the time that they should have as well. So it's a very narrow miss of a win. Hopefully they can kind of just like loot up a little bit more and get into the next game ready to go and get that win.
Because looking back at how the players were positioned real quick, Hot Jukes, is Jelly had a really strong off angle, and it's a good defensive angle. If you are going to get pushed up, guess what? Jelly's angle really shuts that down instantly. But the thing is, Regnum knew that, wait, they have a really good setup. If we push, we're just going to get completely fed into the meat grinder, so let's play it slow. And they played it so slow, in fact, that the circle pushed all of the, I was going to say Thunder Talk, all of True Rippers out of position, and they're just forced in a really bad spot.
हाँ अभी जो टॉप पे बैठे हुए ना जो तीन टीमें टॉप पे बैठे उनको जरूरत है पुश करना उनको कोशिश ये करना कि हम एंड कर रहे हैं चिकन करें ये होता है सही प्लानिंग यानी ये जो कह रहे हैं ना उनका प्लान बिल्कुल परफेक्ट जा रहा है कि हम टॉप पे तो हमें एंड तक खेलना वी नीड टू प्ले टिल द एंड फॉर चिकन जो नीचे की टीम है उनको तो फिर तगड़े फाइट लेने पड़ेंगे पॉइंट इकट्ठे करने पड़ेंगे
let's just trust in our gun skill, let's just try to get this 3v2 and see what happens, you know. But man, these end game zones, especially when it's like, oh, if we lose this we could not make it to the next stage. It's really hard, right, to make those happen. Regnum Karya did have the loot, that's for sure, right? One thing I loved about them is like those guys were throwing nades, they were making terrain divots, they were throwing
GG अब YouTube पे भी live है, YouTube पे भी live है.
Now that is by far one of my favorite things when it comes to Rondo is the fact that you can make those divots in the terrain, Max. What would you like to see, right? Possibly translated from Rondo into some other maps.
The terraforming is one of my favorite features, and if it goes onto Erangel, Miramal's already there's already enough dip snipture. I think we don't need it there. But on Erangel, you got these very flat finishes, especially field finishes or plateau finishes. You add the possibility to terraform, and instantly, I'm telling you, the whole meta of how you play Erangel shifts drastically in esports.
Yes. Yeah, I think 100% that's accurate because, you know, you're going to have teams move into positions that before that change are 100% not a good position, right? You just don't go there, and you have teams avoiding those positions. Now, if you add terraforming in there, if you add that possibility of using your utility to actually get those holes in the ground for your cover, now you're getting teams taking far less optimal positions and making them optimal. It's gonna really change how teams.
यार ये दूसरा मैच कितना टाइम ले रहा है चलने में यार.
For example, I don't know if you guys agree, Hot Jukes and Niptura with me, but if we don't have the terraforming feature on that Rondo game we just had, I think the game ends literally 3-4 minutes earlier because that dip kept Regnum and also some players of True Rippers alive for way longer they really should have been able to do.
Absolutely, and you know that's also a big factor, right? The fact that a lot of these players don't have a lot of hours used to those that terraforming, right? So maybe that made True Rippers second guess themselves on the push. I know it definitely would have made me, Neptura. But you know what? We're getting into the first Erangel of the day. Neptura, where's the zone going? Military?
Ooh, zone is gonna go. No, I'm feeling Georgia Pole. I'm feeling of Everest.
Ooh, Baxman, what do you think?
Yes.
Stolba, because funny. Please.
I love it. Well, I want to see it on over to the west side. Blank and John Allen, where do you want the zone to go?
Let's go!
That's always a difficult question. In terms of excitement,
Team R
Military Islands are
TRX.
We've seen a few of those now. We haven't even had a back-to-back one. I mean, we nearly had a Zaki circle. So
चलो भाई मैच स्टार्ट हो गया भाईजान मैच स्टार्ट हो गया फैसल भाई as a match
decent circle situation.
Chicken dinner.
No Yaz Fields. We had the
WBG
on the western fields by hospital. Yeah.
WBG का chicken नहीं है ये.
Yaz Fields.
ये चिकन मालूम है किसका है? मालूम है किसका चिकन है ये? बताऊं मैं बताऊं पूछो बताऊं मैं बताता हूं
Loxy not being in there is kind of strange, despite most of the insane clutches we've seen on Erangel.
ये चिकन DRX का DRX
on Regnum Kaya.
DRX चिकन
but
करेगी
easily head and shoulders above the rest right now.
ये चिकन DRX का है देख लो.
Up towards Saverny, playing path is very central this game.
ये
so
चिकन
really
DRX
easy
का
to
है.
spread
Check
out
करो
across the
खाली.
map.
Check करो.
We'll wait and see where this circle does end up though, and see if we do get one of those funny circles. Real ha-ha good times.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what? Sometimes it is about those
DRX
good
ये
times.
चिकन
When
करेगी
you're
देख
out
ले.
north, it does put a lot of water into this zone blank. It's likely we're going to see some fast rotates coming on through from our teams down towards the south, getting up towards those shooting range hills, skirting around Stalbert as well. For Weibo, that's maybe good news here, maybe not, depending on who they come into contact with. Disappointed the nuclear zone have moved away from Milton Power. They have been generally disappointing, I think it's safe to say, over the course of the matches so far in this
Malta में
group.
loot कर रहे हैं लड़के.
Going away from the nuclear reactor in Milton Power, that's the most disappointing thing about them right now.
You know it's bad when John uses the word generally. That's everything.
ओ भाई YouTube का लिंक मेरे बायो में जाओ तुमको YouTube चैनल का लिंक मिलेगा.
Not great right now.
TikTok के बायो में जाओ मेरे प्रोफाइल पे वहाँ पे तुम्हें YouTube का लिंक मिलेगा.
We're told we're getting an interview. Oh, I thought it was with VP.
या फिर YouTube चैनल पे जाओ लिखो SQ Magic आ जाएगा हमारा
It
चैनल.
might be.
I hope it is.
It might still well be, but there's a little. I think we're on board with this because Havlik is a little bit back and forth with Lil Boy. I think just get away from there. If you can find a vehicle, yeah, he's got a vehicle. This is definitely a get out of town situation for Boars.
Oh
they're on the 12th place
yeah.
position right now. You can't afford to be taking some interesting fights like that.
Ooh.
Don't overcommit when you know there's weaponry inbound. But I believe the interview we have is with a player from VP, Blake.
Oh, so we get to finally figure out what happened. Why? Please tell us. So curious. But we're going to head over to the stage now with Seven to deduce exactly what did go wrong on that rondo, or what was meant to go incredibly right.
Yeah, we'll see.
पाकिस्तान की टीम 6 तारीख को खेलेगी. हम आपके बिगेस्ट फैन हैं और MFS जंगली के. MFS के. Oh nice, thank you chef, thank you chef.
Why did you end up
Chief,
dating
thank you chief.
yourself?
The Egyptian team, what is their situation? I swear to God, it is.
Но у нас была
Hey والله تعبانين, فريقهم تعبان. فريق مصري مساكين. وايد فريقهم تعبان.
We have a tactic, so we didn't want to lose the timings. And if we will continue to go, we'll just lose the timing. So that's why we need ourselves.
Okay, well, hey, that makes total sense. A tactical decision to be able to do it. Now, talking about tactical decisions that you might have to make during the day, you're currently 18 points away from 11th place. If that starts getting a little bit further away, are you willing to hunt down 11th place to stop them from getting points?
Так, сейчас ваша команда на 18 поинтов от 11 места. Будете ли вы охотиться на других команд до 11 места, чтобы ворваться? Или 11 место, кто сейчас находится?
Ну, еще есть очень много матчей до конца, поэтому как пойдет. Если будет мало поинтов и нам нужно будет руинить, то мы будем руинить. Мы готовы на все, чтобы пройти.
We have a lot of matches now, and we will see what happens. But if we're gonna lose, we're gonna fail, we'll just try to win them and get less chance, yes, sort of for less chance.
This is why I like this team, because I know they'll pull through. Spasiba, Eragon. Back to y'all. Thank you.
All right. Well, I mean, that's good to know. But
welcome, Khalid. Welcome.
I think a little bit of a weakness potentially in VP, right? If they don't have the ability to adapt to having to go to a different place on Rondo.
आकर खुद देख लो, आकर खुद देख लो.
I think that's not the sort of thing that you can really be relying
Mix
on.
shot,
map, so your strap
switch, Adnan.
Padded out
Welcome.
the same way as on
Welcome,
Miramar and Erangel, but I mean, yeah, in my mind, it's not that. It's not a real confidence booster in their performance.
John, Hello?
Yes? Hello?
I was waiting for you to get that one out. God damn.
I know. Hey, look.
क्या कर रही है?
Can I have a necromancer, please? Because I'm dead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can you necromancer me, please?
I'll rise, John. Rise.
Sigma, thank you. Sigma 007, thank you.
But yeah, I think honestly your point was good though, and I think that it is important to think about a little bit, because I think for VP, I think the key word for me there was the timings were wrong. So it sounds like to me that VP has like a very rigorous playbook. That's not always the best thing, and I think you're right. If you can't play outside of the norm, then
thank you, Sigma brother. Thank you. Shout out to Sigma,
pick up a chicken dinner that comes off from an odd rotation or an interesting start to your game. I mean, there's situations where you're able to cut out two teams from the western side off of some fortuitous fights. At that point, you need to start controlling a lot of area. But for VP, that sounds more like they're just continue with their.
क्या बात है Sigma? क्या बात है? Thank you.
And it does explain a lot of why VP looks so great towards his end games. Because if everything has gone right up until the 24th minute, then they'll let off the leash a little bit.
आज मैं देखना चाहता हूँ कितनी गिफ्टिंग आएगी मुझे. आज मुझे गिफ्टिंग चाहिए, गिफ्टिंग.
I think
गिफ्टिंग करो आज.
You know, hoping that your plan goes correctly all the way up towards the end is the wrong idea, because it's the age-old sentiment of, you know, fail to plan to fail. But if you prepare a plan and don't prepare for that plan to fail, you're equally gonna lose out. So yeah, I think VP needs to have a little bit more freedom.
मुझे तो होने से लाल. ये क्या ये डाले मुझे आते हैं ना मेरे मुझे.
Sometimes it's just not going to be realistic, and I mean we saw them say, oh, we really wanted to stick to our strat, we thought it was really good. Well, they didn't do that well in Rondo. They didn't get very far at all.
Let's go, we wanna see our tabertor gameplay.
Hop over to the north shooting range hills though, because teams now have started to group up. Blank, we're on Geeke, on those shooting range hills. They've got Nuclear Zone, who started all the way up north, very close to them, and further north than that, you've got DRX out to the west side of Severny. As it looks like we've only got a few teams yet to cross the river, but Influence Rage and E-Arena, two teams that we praised during day one and to an extent during day two as always surviving into those later stages of the game, playing edge out on that west side.
INF वाले भाई ऊपर जा रहे हैं.
And between
Diego,
E-Arena, I think that they are some of our best edge teams so far, because I think there is this real, to me at least, I don't know if you'd agree, but I think that there is that real dichotomy between E-Arena, DRX, and then Weibo and Regnum Kaya. It's like your two top central teams, then your two top edge teams. And I think that they're sort of playing the best out of our squads. And then you got Flash. And Flash is a weird one, because I think they play a little bit of both.
Yeah, well, being adaptable in a lobby like this where, as we've said, a lot slower, although today things may be on for a little bit of a change if Rondo's anything to go by. A higher elimination count there than we've seen from them in the previous 2 days. So maybe a little bit more dynamism in this one, but being adaptable certainly has served Team Flash well so far, and right now they hold the mantle of third.
Oh, Jelly कहाँ जा रहे हो? Jelly
starting to really stretch their legs here.
Yeah, भाई फटा हो गया भाई Jelly का.
They're guaranteeing themselves into those top spots, into those top three. The bubble in the previous.
जिगरा होना चाहिए, जिगरा होना चाहिए. Flash के साथ ना करो, Flash के साथ मत करो.
Over 140, good news. Anywhere over 150, you can already start planning your trip. It's what you're going to see over in Bangkok, because it's very likely that you're going to be heading there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's happy days if you hit 150. But for Regnum Kaya, currently down towards the south side. They did make that crossing a little bit earlier. They're going for a 2-2 split again. One of the few teams actually we're seeing take these splits early. I think Weibo was trying to go for it before. Unfortunately for them, some of those splits just have not worked out, or they've not had the firepower to rebuff some of the squads. Don't really know how True Rippers are able just to remove this, honestly, but they did. The Flash was like, we don't want anything to do with that anymore.
RG
That's what I was owing.
REG ने जीता है. REG ले गया. Turkish team ले गई. Turkish team.
Teams are going to be smashing further forwards north, but you want to hold it out.
ओए भाई aggressive game खेल रहे हैं भाई TRX.
It's not worth it even holding it.
TRX full aggressive game.
Oh, they're like a dog with a bone on this one. Blank Bose does get rezzed. Hydra and Jelly sail on in, but they realize that the time has ticked away a little bit on that opportunity. And back to their petrol station they go, or gas station for our American viewers. You're welcome, Hot Jukes. You're welcome, Seven. I know it's difficult and confusing when people say petrol to you, but yeah, I've clarified that. And True Rippers, they're going to be filling up the tanks.
Yeah, get ready to go. I mean, for the Flash, honestly, for them, I suppose it makes a little bit more sense. I can get my map feed to remain live. Oh my god, dude. Stop. No, play.
Oh.
Play.
What? Are you okay?
God, my map feed just won't play right. It keeps like falling behind by 5 seconds. It's being lazy as all hell. But yeah, I think for Flash, it does make more sense to head down towards the southwest side if they get ahead of it. And I think that's what in their head we're like, well, there's going to be quite a few teams that haven't quite made it here yet. So let's just push the advantage right now. And I think that Weibo's going to be a little bit surprised by Flash being here.
पड़ गए बे INF को पड़ गई बे.
Sending down nice and early.
गए INF वाले.
Rage just chasing them.
WBG वाले गए.
Maybe able to find a shot through. Alliance chiming in towards Stuke.
गए खत्म.
Didn't have
Whoa.
his presence in those final circles.
Whoa.
Towards that boundary, and they want to hold on to it as well. Hero now the last to stand, losing his teammates. Order very, very close to going down as well. ETSH wants to find more. They're getting the knocks, they're getting those flushes. Hero still with a last stand, and he holds off for one more. But his teammates are bleeding, and Order still not going to be up in an action. Needs to get across fast. ETSH,
Boy, saw
they crash a lot of their players in.
kills
They're
कर
left
गए
only
भाई.
as one as well.
Yeah, I mean, for ETSH, a little bit of an awkward push there. Order's definitely going down. Hero does the right thing just to try and hold the fort down. Try and make this one work. Quick spray. Won't quite find it, and Jimmy will finish off Order. One thing I will say is I think Order's been a little unimpressive this tournament so far. Oh my god, feed, what a shot. Unfortunately, there is shots from the sidelines from Joker. Immediately shuts them down, so they had the refrag there, so everything's fine. Yeah, I think Order's been a little bit unimpressive. I'm sad to see. I really like that guy. I think he's a strong player, but here it's sort of felt like Ketch from Ulf. Yeah, I mean, he has his off tournaments, and he has his tournaments where you're like, oh my, this guy's godly. So yeah, I'm a little confused.
It's I mean, it swings and roundabouts for a lot of players. I mean, we've seen rises and dips from quite a few powerful players over the course of PUBG Mobile's history. It is just the way of things. Sometimes you have an off year, sometimes you have an off week, and you can't really afford for that to be at PMGC if you want to keep things going. But I mean, for Weibo, they're still up in 5th place. They're still 4 points behind 3rd place in a direct qualification spot, so it's not like they're dragging their feet on that front for now. But we are comparing them to past performance, which maybe is unfair, maybe not. It is a bit of a confusing lobby after all on this group. Things have changed. When you add Rondo into the mix, it gets all the weirder. The Boars, they are moving in from that western side right now.
लेकिन जो top 3 है ना वो नहीं करेंगे, वो बिल्कुल relax होके game खेलेंगे.
It's around that 11th, 12th place bubble.
Ooh, Circle heads down towards the southeast here. The Burmese Ghouls do grab themselves a location on the eastern side, but for how long will that stay in play? For Alliance as well, they need to move back out from that south side, push over towards the north here. But for Regnum Kai, they're going to move on. Influence Rage will be in front of them. Weibo still hanging on with their one player in Hero. Krona from Nuclear Zone, I think that time is coming to an end.
It would seem so. Stage 4. Maybe a little earlier than it likes to go down, but not much choice. Team Flash fending against the Boars here, and the nade comes on through from the outside there, and a nade over towards Team Flash actually catches wind as he was trying to get in and amongst
Flash gay, baby, Flash.
It looks like the Boars are starting to take control of this fight, but Reckon Kaya moving in. Got Weibo as well on the south side, but only a solo. ETSH only a solo as well, and the Boars absolutely have this one in hand. The crawl back though for Win is there. True Rippers as well, chiming in. So a dangerous fight to be taking. This should be the board sweeping through, though. They've taken down the majority of Team Flash, and they only have one more to go. Everybody crawling out to the outside, and actually the board's trying to step on the top immediately into the fight, and he's going to put him back down, and that is the
Flash Bahar, bhai. Flash Bahar, bhai, saab.
Approach. You see that Regnum Kai is also pushing in, so you don't want to go for this engagement, but you slowly pull yourself further down towards the south side. You gain more control over towards this area, and you can get a
INF भी गई, INF भी गई.
Kai is going to have to push something.
INF वाले भी गए, खलास.
When that does come through. So this actually was a nice play from True Rippers. I respected the discipline on that. Arcred just have a really nice spot to play out the rest of their game. Some teams would maybe rather be down towards the south side so they can play out those ridges when it comes to the late game. But that does require the circle to push south as well. So it's definitely not a fun one here, John. There's a lot of ifs and buts when we come through to stage 5 and 6.
Manu, welcome. Omar, welcome.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions that desire an answer, or at least we desire them to be answered. Your players are dreading what that might be. As at the moment, we're on board with VP, looking to guard out that influence range position. I think under the bridge at the moment, I mean, it's not terrible of a spot, but not favorable for the time being. If it shifts over that direction, it starts to go up in value slightly. E-Arena under pressure, True Rippers. I mean, they're really getting stuck in.
Kal pata chalega, kal pata chalega.
They have not been bowed out. They will not be cowed, and they will look for these fights, it seems. Willing to get stuck in, but a little bit slow sometimes on pouncing on those opportunities. So the thought is there, the execution just a little bit faster, and maybe they'll be able to jump up into 11th.
I mean, it's not looking.
यार ये जेली बिल्कुल aggressive, यानी ऐसे घूम रहा है जैसे कि
a lot of chance today to get
क्या बोलूँ अभी?
which is 64. They're only 15 points behind now.
ये लो भाई.
I think it's definitely possible for Troopers. I think they are learning quite quickly, and even if that last match, like, that's a big adjustment right there. Even then, on that engagement of how they played it out, they pushed down. They were like, we need to take advantage of this moment. Then they saw it was getting a little bit hectic. They didn't want to get third party by Regnum Kai, so they pulled back. So I think the overall decision making process there was really quite good.
Boys, DRX. DRX पीछे RTA DRX है DRX
I was quite pleased
पीछे DRX
panned out, because you know, looking into the future, I saw very bad events happening.
I mean, this gas station's working out well for them for the time being. DRX trying to move up to it. We'll see if they're easily pushed off. Jelly on the outside of this one. This is a really bold decision to be on the outside there. I feel like you just want to go on back in, and you can see that DRX are like, there's a guy on the outside. Let's just try and swipe him. Go for those vehicle plays. And not quite connecting on that first run around. We'll see if they go for a second. Nade over in from Hydro. His feet not exposed, standing on the rooftop there.
Whoa.
They do keep things under control for the time being.
यार
Nice shot from Kyo over towards that side.
आज इंडियन बोलते हैं भाई हम करके दिखाएंगे.
Again, they're trying to eliminate themselves to help with their timings. It makes sense to me. At this point of the game, one player should have been knocked. That's in their playbook, so they'll do it themselves.
That's opener looking to be found here by Hyunbin. Hydro has that line up. The players hitting the dirt. No way you can do that. Hyunbin, you should know. These shots are coming through. They can see you immediately. Maybe he thought the smoke cover was there. The answering nade is pretty good though. And Hydro will get knocked. Now it's just Kyo on the off angle. Moving away from him. Jelly's knocked on the flip side. Swivel hits